Hey, what is going on, social media family? What's going on, guys? What's happening Facebook? What's happening YouTube? Thank you guys for hopping on here with me. Listen, guys, also, if you are not following me on Instagram, please be sure to do so, and I will follow you back. I'm right here, Eddie Harvey Online. Let's connect over there as well. So listen, guys, I want to hop on here and talk about becoming unreasonable, a personal development mindset thing, and just hit on this really quickly. And I cannot take credit for this subject because I was listening to one of my mentors, right? Ray Higdon. I was listening to him and inside of one of his groups that I'm a part of. He was talking about becoming unreasonable to grow and achieve success, right? So what is that referring to when people, you typically hear people sometimes say, oh, you're being unreasonable. And typically you have to push the boundaries of your limits in order for you to grow. It's just like anything, like with working out, and it actually relates to what he was talking about with working out. He was saying he has a client who works with seniors, and he was saying how he has to push them and switch things up to get them to become unreasonable in what they're doing to grow. So if you're consistently doing 50 sit-ups per day, every day, right? At some point, you're going to plateau, and that's going to just become your norm, and that's going to become status quo. And then what's going to happen at that point is that your results are going to teeter off. You're going to maintain where you're at. You're not going to get any better. You may get a little lower, but pretty much you're going to stay even keel, right? Because it's the same thing you're doing. You're not pushing yourself or becoming unreasonable with where you're at. So that's why even with working out is like, if you do a workout, it's typically good if you work out like after 6 weeks, it's good to change your workout up because your body is adjusting and it is kind of plateaued and got used to where you're at. So it's the same thing with our results. It's the same thing with what we're doing. So you're set to doing a certain thing every day, right? Let's obviously we know work is work. Let's talk about business. Let's talk about people who are out here being entrepreneurs, who are out here hustling. And you might be saying to yourself, man, why am I not getting more results than what I'm seeing? Okay, I'm pretty consistent with what I'm doing. I'm pretty consistent with the amount of leads I'm getting. I'm pretty consistent with the sales numbers I'm having every month. Part of that goes into the fact of that you've kind of plateaued, right? You're not growing because you're not pushing yourself. So if you're only reaching out to 5 people every day about your business, or if you're only making 20 calls per day, you're going to get the results of that. So how do you change that? You got to do more at the end of the day. You got to push yourself. You got to stretch yourself, right? You have to step outside of your comfort zone of where you're at. So instead of just talking to 5 people per day, you need to become unreasonable. Bump that up to 15 or 20 people per day, right? If you're making, let's say, sales calls, you're doing 20 a day. Shoot that to 30, 40, or 50, right? If you're only doing you're only doing cardio for 15 minutes per day, push that up to 30 minutes. So you see what I'm saying? So you want to, as in the words of Grant Cardone, in a sense, which is a great book, 10 times your growth, right? So you want to go more than what you're doing. That's how you stretch and you grow. That's how the muscles actually grow. The muscles, you break them down to build them back up. So when you start working your body differently, when you start doing different things, now you're hitting different parts of the muscle at different angles. Your body's like, okay, we're not used to this, man. This is a whole new thing we got going on. So now you're forcing them to stretch. You're forcing them to break down. You start adding on more weight. You've been hitting those 50-pound dumbbells for the last 6 weeks. It's time to switch it up. Push yourself. Try for 55. Try for 60 or whatever. So now you're going to be more sore the next day, right? More than likely. Or you might be surprised because you're going to be like, man, I was able to do this weight all of this time, but you never push yourself. You never challenged yourself. So now you're like, okay, I've challenged myself. I'm handling this pretty well. Let me add on a little bit more. That's how you got to stair step with your growth for your business or whatever you're doing. Again, if you're only calling, you're connecting with 10 people per day, connect with 30 people per day. Okay. So I was on a training for an Instagram trainer, a leader that's a part of my company. He was just like, look, let's keep it real. If you're connecting with 10 to 20 people per day, that's okay. But if you really want to get results, he's like, you need to be connected with 100 people per day. So that's stretching, right? That's like, damn, 100 people per day. Okay. And that's growth, right? That's going to come down to you putting a lot of work in and maybe hiring somebody. Stay away from the bots. If you're trying to build on Instagram, stay away from the bots because they will shut you down. But Imagine that. If you're just connected with 20 people per day, now you're going to 100 people. You might say that's kind of unreasonable. Well, if you want to grow, if you want to get better results, you have to get unreasonable. Okay? Unreasonable is you changing you dig everything you're doing. If you're in your business and you want to get better results in your business, it might require you to turn off the TV, right? It might require you to take away Netflix time. Your drive time needs to turn into what? Personal development time. I've been done that a long time ago, right? I rarely ever listen to the radio. My drive in to work, my drive in home is all personal development. When I'm at home, when I'm in my kitchen cooking and cleaning, if I maybe put on a little Pandora or something here and there, but for the most part, I'm plugged in. I'm tuned in to some personal development, some training from some leaders in my company, whatever it may be. Those are the things that you have to do, right? You don't think I want to be watching the NBA playoffs? It's a triple header going on tonight, right? I want to be watching the games. All I'm seeing is the highlights. Why? Because I have more important things to do. Okay. In order to get what most people don't have, you got to be willing to do what most people aren't willing to do. So instead of me sitting there watching a game for 2-3 hours, that's 2-3 hours of business time. That's just my personal reality of what it is I want to do. I want to watch the games, right? But that's time I'm like, man, eating. I know I'm uncomfortable because it's like even in that time, it's like, man, that's calls I could be making. That's website edits I could be doing. That's more studying for trading I could be doing, right? So it's all about how you utilize your time. Instead of binging on Netflix, that's you putting more work into your business. That's you finding other ways to grow and get better, right? So those are the choices you have to make, but you have to be unreasonable with yourself. Is it unreasonable for you to say, I'm not watching TV until I hit my goals? If that's unreasonable for you, go for it. Is it unreasonable for you to say, I'm not, consuming anything of any desserts or whatever, or any sugary drinks until I hit my weight goal? That's going to seem kind of unreasonable, but those are the things you need to do to hit your goals. So guys, get unreasonable with yourself if you want to grow, if you want to stretch, if you want to see bigger and better results. Now is a time, now is a season. Listen, go on a 90-day run, guys. We're at the end of August. We literally have September, October, November, December. We're down to like 4 months left in the year. There's still plenty of time. That's a lot of time in business terms, right? That's a lot of time for you to get downright serious with yourself. Even if put it like this, if you say, I need to watch my NBA games, right? Or I need my Netflix, that's my release, right? Well, here's what you got to understand, 24 hours in a day, right? Pretty much you, in that 24 hours, even if you work 8 hours, your drive time into work, and let's say even 2 hours, that's 10 hours, right? Let's say you sleep 8 hours. I don't remember the last time I slept 8 hours. You sleep 8 hours, right? That's 18 hours. Okay. So then you figure, if you figure time with the family or whatever, an hour, then your personal time, that's another hour. That leaves you like 4 hours. Even if you want to do 2 hours with the family or whatever, that still leave you like 3 hours of productivity for your business. And you have to decide what schedule, what time it is, 3 hours a day, then your weekends, guys. That's how most people build their businesses when you're part-time. If you're full-time, that's a whole nother demo. When you're full-time, you're talking about people putting in the work daily, right? Hours upon hours. But you got to work with what you have. You got to stretch yourself. You got to challenge yourself. You got to become unreasonable with yourself. So guys, I hope you all received some value from what I shared. I appreciate you guys hopping on all of the platforms, wherever you're at. Thank you definitely for tuning in, guys. With that being said, I will talk to you all tomorrow. You all take care. Make it a great day.